What if I told you that 10,000 years ago, you wanted to get from London to Paris? You might think of a plane, a ship crossing the English Channel, or a Eurostar train cruising through a state-of-the-art underwater tunnel. You wouldn't need any of that. You would just need a pair of feet to walk across the vast green meadows, lush forests, and crystal-clear rivers that connected England directly to mainland Europe. This wasn't the mythical Atlantis. This was Doggerland, a lost world now buried at the bottom of the North Sea. Yet, in the blink of a geological eye, this paradise was wiped out by a 6-story megatsunami. How did thousands of prehistoric humans perish in this catastrophe, and why is this history only now being revealed? Let's delve into the mysteries of the Mesolithic apocalypse that changed the world forever. Doggerland was more than just a land bridge or a migration route. It was the center of early human civilization in northern Europe. At its peak in the Mesolithic period, the region encompassed a quarter of ancient Europe, stretching from the east coast of England to the Netherlands, Germany, and Denmark. New research using ancient sedimentary DNA, ceda-DNA, reveals that Doggerland was a remarkably fertile environment. More than 16,000 years ago, long before forests spread across the British mainland, southern Doggerland was already dotted with temperate trees such as oaks, elms, and hazels. Scientists have even discovered genetic traces of Terracaria trees, a type of walnut previously thought to have been extinct from Europe hundreds of thousands of years ago. The landscape consists of rolling hills, salt marshes, lagoons, and a large river system known as the Southern River. For Mesolithic hunter-gatherer communities, this was paradise. They lived alongside herds of mammoths, cave lions, woolly rhinos, and now extinct giant deer. They hunted wild boar, harvested berries, and fished in nutrient-rich estuaries. However, this prosperity was built on borrowed time as the Ice Age began to end. For centuries, Doggerland was little more than a ghost story for fishermen. However, starting in the 19th century, the North Sea began to reveal its secrets. Fishermen with trawls often accidentally recovered strange objects from the seabed: massive mammoth tusks, lion bones, and even handmade tools. One of the most phenomenal discoveries occurred in 1931, when the trawler Kalinda dredged up a chunk of ancient peat from the seabed and discovered a spearhead or harpoon beautifully carved from reindeer antler. This discovery proved beyond doubt that humans once inhabited this now submerged landmass. Additionally, Neanderthal skull fragments discovered off the coast of Zeeland, the Netherlands, suggest tumor scars and a carnivorous diet. Archaeologists have also discovered an ancient, petrified forest beneath the sea, demonstrating how quickly the land was covered by water. Artifacts such as a 50,000-year-old stone with a birch handle used as a razor add to the complexities of early human life there. Doggerland was not simply a wasteland, but home to thousands of people with a thriving culture. The destruction of Doggerland did not happen overnight, but rather through a long process triggered by global climate change at the end of the Ice Age. Around 20,000 years ago, global sea levels were about 120 meters lower than they are today, because water was trapped in giant polar ice caps. As global temperatures warmed, the ice began to melt, spilling water into the oceans. In the southern North Sea, sea levels rose at an average rate of 1.25 meters per century. The flat, low-lying landscape of Doggerland began to erode. River valleys turned into salty bays, and the highest hills became islands. The situation worsened about 8,470 years ago with the draining of Lake Agassiz, a massive glacial lake in North America. Billions of tons of freshwater spilled into the North Atlantic, causing a sudden rise in global sea levels of about 0.25 to 0.5 meters in just a matter of months. By about 6,200 BC, Doggerland was no longer a continent, but a collection of low-lying islands and swamps, constantly struggling against rising seas. Human communities there were forced to adapt, using boats and moving to higher ground as their ancestral homelands sank. The final, fatal blow to Doggerland came hundreds of miles off the coast of Norway. There, a giant, unstable pile of sediment on the continental shelf suddenly collapsed, an event known as the Storegga Slide. This event involved the collapse of an underwater area the size of Iceland, displacing approximately 3,500 kilometers cubed of soil and mud. The trigger is believed to have been a powerful earthquake that released methane hydrate gas beneath the seafloor. This volume of falling material created an enormous dislocation of water, triggering a mega tsunami that traveled as fast as a commercial jet across the North Atlantic Ocean. As the wave reached the shallow waters of Doggerland, its energy no longer extended but intensified, transforming into a massive wall of water 5 to 20 meters high. Because Doggerland is so flat, there was nowhere to escape. The black wave, carrying mud, trees, and boulders, swept inland for kilometers, destroying Mesolithic settlements in a matter of hours. An estimated 700 to 3,000 people died instantly or lost their food sources as freshwater became poisoned by salt and shellfish were destroyed. For those who survived, their world was shattered. This tsunami accelerated the process of Britain's separation, severing the last land umbilical cord, connecting it to Europe. After the tsunami receded, the map of Europe was changed forever. Although some areas, like Dogger Island, may have survived as small archipelagos for a few hundred more years, Doggerland's existence as a solid land bridge was over. Around 7,000 years ago, the entire region was completely submerged beneath the North Sea. This event had a profound cultural impact. Britain's separation from mainland Europe created geographic isolation that shaped the unique identity of its people. Separated by rough seas, communities in Britain developed a language, culture, and history distinct from those of mainland Europe. The lack of early Mesolithic archaeological evidence in present-day Britain is likely due to their central settlements actually being located in Doggerland, now underwater.